Good morning. Happy Valentine's Day. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Browns. Oh, you're going to be Gary today. Just interrupt my introduction. Cool.
Well, I was going to do Gary. We didn't have Gary here today, so I'm going to root for Gary. Okay, go ahead.
That was in my intro to, get my introduction out of the way and then say it was uninterrupted, but that's clearly dead. I can't say that on Facebook, I don't think, but we unalived that introduction. But hey, everybody, we got some Browns news, kind of. We're still looking for a defensive coordinator. We don't know who our quarterback is. That seems to be an every year thing. But we also have special guest Dan Gilles on today, and he always gives us his raw, uncensored ideas on what this team should do or shouldn't do. And that's what I like about it, because we're going to argue today. You guys know me. I'm Mike. You got Sam and Logan Bruce. It's going to be a fun show today, guys. Let's get right into it. Obviously, defensive coordinator. Do you guys miss Jim Schwartz already or no?
Yeah.
Who said yeah? I didn't even see anybody move. Dan, all right.
It's tough. I mean, our defense was great. He's obviously a really good defensive coordinator. I just think the way we talked about it last week, like the way he handled it was it seemed like kind of a crybaby move, but if I was him, I understand it also. I don't know. It's a weird situation. Like if I was him, I'd be pissed. But as a fan, it's like, dude, just finish your last year.
I'm a type of guy when it's over, it's over. So, like breaking up with an old girlfriend. You're gone. All right. Well, I'm the bigger, better thing. So, I mean, there's nothing we can change about it.
Don't chase them, replace them.
Well, that's the thing, but here in hindsight, also, if the season starts and this defense is not looking like it looked before, that's when you'll go, man, I really miss Schwartz, so.
Yeah.
We'll see, man. We got some guys to go through today that, are trying to find which candidate fills in them blanks for now. So
it's just a reflection of the botched coaching search all the way through.
Yeah. Yep.
You go and you string along this guy for a month, label him as your number one candidate. You basically make every coach you interviewed, you got to retain this guy if you get hired. And one by one, they say, nah, I'm good. Deuces, I'm good. Nah, I'll go this place. I'll stay here. And all you're left with is Todd Monkey. Or Todd Merkin or Todd Munkin or whatever his name is. Ed Schwartz. And it's like, okay, you're going to just promote the defensive coordinator and get it over with. Nope. Let's hire the old guy from the Ravens who's never going to head coach
everybody before. When they all said no, it was like, okay, so I guess we're just going to hire Schwartz, because nobody said anything about Munkin for probably the last 2 weeks of that coaching search.
I think I know where Dan was going with this. So you do all this, right? You do all this. So you got coaches coming in and you say, hey, we got to keep our defensive coordinator. That's how we're going to do it. Well, I'm coming in for the job and I did your little essay. I'm cool with all that, but I want to bring in my own defensive coordinator. So a lot of guys were like, no. And then so you do all that. Then you don't promote the guy and you still lose the guy anyway. Yeah. So it's like you did all that. Okay. We did all this, and he's like, peace, man. You know what? This ain't for me. Peace out, and you still lose the guy you wanted to keep. So
you pushed everybody away because you said you have to keep him. So they all said no and then didn't hire him anyways. And now he's also gone.
Yeah, like I said, man, you did all that, and you wanted to keep Schwartz just to have Schwartz walk out.
It doesn't make sense though. Like they're like, so Schwartz is interviewed for the job. Schwartz is interviewed for he's like also in competition with you, Nate Steelhouse. Like he's your competition for the job, but just in case we hire you, like we also would like to keep him. Like they just didn't assume that Schwartz wouldn't get angry about this, and
I know,
like it doesn't make any sense. Like I've heard, like they've said he has like kind of an ego, which. I don't know, when you're coaching a mean defense, like I think you probably have to have a little bit of an ego. Like they knew the guy, like they didn't anticipate that he would get pissed about this, and kind of looked, and like if they would have overlooked him for like one of the young guys, like the Udinski or Steelhouse, like I maybe even Schwartz would understand that a little bit more, like a youth movement. But they hired a guy that was Schwartz's age that hasn't head coached before. Like they just hired the offensive version of Schwartz. Like it's like pretty much a slap. And then Monken didn't do him any favors when he kind of called him out in the press conference.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh my God.
That was when I kind of knew it was over, the way he said it.
Like, I didn't come here for Schwartz, or I didn't like plan on chip blocking Jim Schwartz. I planned, like, we game planned around Myles Garrett. All right, well, this dude's gone. And Garrett will probably be gone in a year anyways. Like, who knows?
Possibilities are endless with this team, obviously.
It's why the Brown. I hate to quote that son of a bitch from the Steelers, but it's why the Browns is the Browns, man.
Yeah,
that's why they are. They cannot get out of their own way. Jimmy Haslam continues to be Jimmy Haslam, and it's frustrating as somebody who's been a fan since before he could walk, who's seen the high, like the just almost there, in the 80s. And to go through the move and everything else, and you think, okay, it can't be worse than this. No, it is. It's 100% is.
Yeah, life is like hold my beer.
I thought it was fine. I had to excuse myself, man. I had to go to the bathroom real quick. But I come back and sit down, and first thing I hear, I put the headphones on. Dan's like, the Browns are the Browns. It was the first thing I came back to. Yeah, all right, we're right into this, man.
Yeah. I completely agree with Logan, though. The way he did it, Jim Schwartz, the way he left was kind of shady, I think. When you have a top 3 defense in the league and the way you left your team like that, and just looks bad on you, man. You weren't a great coach in Detroit, and you had opportunity here, but you ruined it.
That's really, so now, he's got to be careful. We don't have Matt Stafford or Calvin Johnson. So I don't know what he was planning on doing.
Yeah.
Work in Detroit, like Shador throwing bombs to Cedric Tillman's not, better than Stafford and Calvin Johnson.
Right.
And now are we going to be better now that we stole the Ravens coaching staff offensively? I mean,
no, they all lose their talent when they get here.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson's not coming with them.
Yeah. If Lamar went
Derrick
here,
Henry's not
if
coming
we brought
with
Lamar here, he would instantly be bad. Put that in one of our clips and post it. No doubt about it. Lamar Jackson would be awful if he came here.
I'll say it, but what gets me thinking that this is a good, move and new staff coming in. I'll say it again, is it seemed like everybody was following Monken. A lot of guys didn't go follow Harbaugh. So that tells me that, his guys believe in him, and he's got some guys that want to stay with him. So that's something to say there. So hopefully we'll see, and hopefully that we don't get the old Browns is the Browns type coaching staff going on again, and we can string some wins together next year.
We're going to be back here in 2 years. Sam's beard's going to be a little bit grayer than it is now. And we're going to be talking about the next head coach that we hire because we fired Todd Monken. And
your beard's going to be grayer too.
100%.
He seems like a cool dude. His press conference I liked this press conference. Like, it was hard not to get a little amped up about it, and him meeting Shador and all that. But that's just the Browns' hope that, okay, yeah, he's a nice guy. This is going to work. And then, like I said, we'll be back here in a year or two.
Once upon a time, he got all fired up because a hillbilly said, if you don't wear brown and orange, don't matter.
That's why I said I brought that up last week. It was like, all right, I'm ready to die for this guy.
And who was on that staff? Todd Monken was.
Yeah. And he was going around complaining to all the other coaches for the other teams, apparently. So we'll see.
Oh boy.
I wasn't on board at first, but after seeing the press conference and everything, obviously as Cleveland guys, you got to love him for what he said.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously he's going to say that. I mean, that's how you win a fan base over, especially a Cleveland fan base. That is in general hard enough to deal with. And I give him the credit for jumping up there and saying what he said. It just goes to prove that hopefully he'll come here and be a tough head coach and turn his offense around. And that's what we need. Now, the defensive side of the ball, honestly, guys, so here's another question. And I've asked everybody this. We've gone around this a couple times. But, Dan, I want to start with you because I haven't gotten your opinion on this. You did say that Jim Schwartz is you obviously already miss him.
Yeah.
Do you think that this defense relied on Jim Schwartz, or could this defense do it with another guy, possibly even be better? Because like Sam and I were talking about a little bit this morning, the home games, our defense was lights out, great. Away games, there was a lot of struggles
until Tony Barry Sanders Pollard showed up.
And then you've lost people like Malik Collins as well. So I mean that was a huge piece of our defensive line. But the run game, the last I want to say the last 4 games, the run stop was just tremendously horrible. But do you think it is possible that this defense could even do better or worse without Jim Schwartz?
Here's my fear. Jim Schwartz is a personality. He's a guy that brings, when he came to the Browns, they had, I forgot who the guy was. Woods was, I think what his name was.
Joe
he
Woods.
was, yeah, he was awful.
Cool.
He had all this talent and the defense was garbage. So you bring in a guy, Jim Schwartz, he has a pedigree. He was a head coach before. He was with the Ravens. He's, a personality, like a Buddy Ryan type, except without the outspokenness. He comes in and immediately transforms the defense into this badass unit, and they're talking shit and, swagging, and Myles Garrett's just playing with his ears pinned back and everything else. And all of a sudden they're, ranked, top 5 defense in the league for 3 consecutive years. And people can think, well, if you just promote one of his assistants, it should continue, right? My fear is Jim Schwartz, his personality, his bravado, his basically him is what made that defense quasi great, really, really good. And you lose that personality, that dynamic, I'm going to run through a wall for you guy, and you promote just some Ephraim Banda or Jason Tarver or whatever. And it's not the same voice. It's not the same, let's go kick their ass. My biggest fear is that even if you promote from within, that the unit's going to take a step back, that Myles isn't going to be as dominant, that the secondary isn't going to be as good as they've been. Like, it'll revert back to the Joe Woods era where these guys were just letting 30-yard passes every other play. Like, maybe it's just I'm just so burnt out that I'm just like eternal pessimist right now. But I like when the Bears lost Buddy Ryan, I'll take you way back. When the Bears lost Buddy Ryan, he had that defense was the greatest defense in the world, and they could win games on their own. They didn't need an offense. Buddy Ryan leaves, and what did the Bears do? They never went back. They never won another championship. They were a decent defense, but they never got over that hump. And we're going with a team that never even only got to the playoffs one time with Jim Schwartz. That was really good. And now you're basically asking some other guy to pick up the slack and say, okay, let's keep building on this. Mm-hmm. I logically just can't see it. Maybe.
What about though? I mean, I see what you're saying, but I mean, Schwartz was here since 2019, correct?
No,
like 22,
20,
yeah, 22.
22. All right. So 22 to 2019. Anyway, 22. So 22, 23, 24.
Stefanski was here in 2019.
Okay. So like three seasons with Schwartz. What about guys like Myles and Denzel Ward and, I think Tyson Campbell, some of the guys that stepped up last year, your Devin Bush. What about guys that just got the raw talent and they've been around that coach enough that they'll still be able to produce just because they're just that good? That we got some decent guys on this offense. In addition to Schlesinger, we got Mason Graham's going to keep building because he's the player. They're the player. The player's got to play good. I think that whoever they bring in here, coaches coach, players play. I get that, but like I said, some of these guys are that good that they'll still be able to carry some of what they were already taught. And I'm sure that whoever they sit down with, defensive coordinator, I would assume that they would have a meeting with guys like Myles, Denzel, with, bringing a guy in. What do you think about this guy? What about, if we do choose a guy, those players saying, "Here, man, we did this. We can help you out," because they want to keep the same scheme. They said, "Who knows best than the players?" So I think that they can keep some of that just because the players play. So, and they know that system that they played behind.
Logan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense what Dan's saying. It's like one of those guys that they're talking about promoting might have like that same energy. I remember Greg Williams was kind of similar, like get the whole team amped up. I will say like maybe Monken even helps kind of fill that void a little bit. It seemed like just if you had Schwartz and Stefanski in a room, like there's no doubt who the players would probably gravitate towards as far as energy and kind of rallying behind. I think that is like, again, the Monken press conference. That's kind of what I got the most from it, is he seems like he could be kind of a guy that the team can rally behind. So maybe you don't need that energy as much just strictly on the defensive coordinator side if the head coach himself has that. Again, that's just purely off of watching the 20-minute interview or whatever it was. It's not much, but Stefanski was not that type of Jim Schwartz or even a Todd Monken type guy. It didn't seem like his press conferences were boring, and even the fans had a hard time getting behind him in those press conferences, which again, we got behind Freddie Kitchens because he knew what colors our jerseys were. You don't need to say much. Just say something. I don't know. I think what Dan's saying makes a lot of sense. So it's, if they all like respected him a ton, it could be tough. The players might love one of those internal guys though. Who knows? Like there might be someone in there that has a ton of energy that they do like.
And we'll get into that. I want to quote Monken here for a second. He said,
"Purple
main trait he's looking for is in a defensive coordinator is adaptability." Obviously, we all heard that he wants to keep the same scheme. So that's got to be an issue as well with some of these other coaches coming in. I'll get to this quote here in a second. You're going to bring a coach in, a defensive coordinator, and be like, "Hey, man, we're going to keep this scheme." So you're gonna have to do that. You're going to have these players, but you're keeping the scheme. Some coaches aren't going to agree to that. And we already know one did yesterday. He backed out, and we'll get to that in a second. But Monken said it's a little unique here because we would like to keep the same system and the same style because I do believe our players are going to believe in the system first before an actual coordinator, Monken said. I went through that in 2011 at Oklahoma State when I replaced Dana Holgorsen there. So I think there's going to be a belief system and an attack style defense. So finding the right fit from adaptability standpoint, but understanding what our players do best and how the roster has been built that way. You can't change a whole roster. You can change out pieces and try to get better in spots, but you certainly have to find the person that embodies what you want. In terms of inspiring our players to continue playing at the high level they played at and yet able to put their own spin on it, certainly like every year, you're going to adapt and evolve. So he says the right things, but can you find that guy that's going to be able to run the defense?
And I think Brandon Whedon was a 35-year-old freshman on that Oklahoma State Cowboys team. I didn't know he coached at Oklahoma State. That's cool. But I mean, he says all the right things. And I think that makes sense. I guess, Sam, Dan, what do you got? Like just the players believing in the system before the coach, like that they can get behind the X's and O's of the defense. I agree with that.
At the end of the day, you're a player. No matter what you do, you come out here and you play the sport that you claim to love, no matter the money you're making, no matter who's that coach, the coaching position. Come out here and play, man. This fan base loves this team.
We get Sendejo back. We get Sendejo back there on.
I called him something else that probably.
You weren't the only one. You weren't the only one. But we talked about it earlier. We wanted to, we told coaches coming in here for interviews that we were going to keep Schwartz. And like we said, we lost Schwartz anyway after all this went down, and we're talking about keeping Schwartz's scheme. So, I mean, if that happened where Schwartz left, the scheme can disappear too, just as much as, everything else has happened. So I would like to keep it, but there's parts in there that needed fixed, they nobody's going to be perfect. You're going to have really good defenses. I mean, Seattle's defense was great, but you're going to have, there's going to always be a little chink in the armor in some type of defense some way. I talked about it. I touched on it last week. I would like to see a little bit of change. I think if it's going to be for the better, you keep the same scheme, but you add in different packages. I mean, Dan, you brought up old Bears. I mean, hey, is there? Let me ask you this, Dan: is there a form of the 4-6D from back in the Chicago days that we can implement somehow, some way, or is that too old? And everybody talks about, well, the future of the NFL is turning. Is that something that we couldn't use, to mix up a defensive scheme? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we could. I mean, we had Buddy Ryan's kid here for a couple of years. Rob was defensive coordinator, and he brought some of the 46 element to that defense. They weren't exactly the greatest unit, but then again, he didn't exactly have the greatest talent either at that point. But yeah, I could see, Schwartz's wide 9 defensive scheme it kind of derives from that a little bit. So, I mean, the biggest key for that is, you got to have a strong front four. Myles Garrett pretty much elevates any front four you have just by his own being, so he's that special. It's just a matter of you got to keep him focused and you got to keep him wanting, motivated. Your secondary's improved now, as long as Denzel Ward is healthy, which is always a big if. Your safeties have gotten a lot better. Grant Delpit finally arrived. Thank you very much. It took you about 3 or 4 years to do so, but you're here now, and please stay. Tyson Campbell was a breath of fresh air. I would say he's an improvement over Greg Newsome. So you're excited about, and he's locked up for a while, so you're excited about his potential. So, I mean, you have the pieces, if you wanted to implement some of those elements of that 46 defense, you could. But then again, the same West Coast offense that Joe Montana was running to perfection in the 80s doesn't exactly work nowadays. Now it needs tweaks,
Right.
So, just because it worked in 1985 doesn't mean it'll work today. But, as the game evolves, you always are kind of adding different schemes, and you let, analytics kind of factors in a little bit. I know it's a dirty word, but it is what it is, computer analysis.
Logistics.
Yeah. So it's like, you can take that concept and you can make it better, especially if you have the pieces to kind of make it better. So to answer your question, I definitely could see, something like that working, but it's just a matter of, you talk about, Schwartz's scheme and you don't want to derive from it. And so you're kind of trying to interview the same type of people and even people from his staff. Yeah. When you say something like that, then it kind of pigeonholes you into something. And then if you hire somebody that says, well, I want to tweak this a little bit, and all of a sudden Myles goes, tweak? Get me the hell out of here. Or Denzel says, tweak, I'm not going to re-sign next year. So you kind of are walking. It's a tightrope that you're walking, and you created this tightrope yourself, by the way. There's a tightrope now that you're walking where you're trying to make the existing players that are back that you want to build around happy, but you also don't want to just kind of pigeonhole yourself into, well, this worked for Jim Schwartz, it'll work for Ephraim Sanda. He's got a different voice. He's got a different personality. He's got a different ego. When he might say the exact same thing Jim Schwartz is telling you, but if it's not coming from Jim Schwartz, the players aren't going to hear it the same way. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens and if there's some significant improvement on that unit. I'm here for it, popcorn in hand. They've already kind of got the leaky faucet going. Let's see if they don't turn into a geyser or if they can plug it.
Yeah, right.
We'll have you back next week when the breaking news comes out that everybody that knows Schwartz's scheme all turned down the job.
I mean, it's possible. So for the offensive side of the ball, really quick, I want to touch base with this, guys. Dan, you said the NFL is changing from Joe Montana's play days, from the 80s to nowadays. The NFL has changed dramatically. And I think offensive mindsets are also changing. The NFL in a whole is changing. So with that being said, I was looking forward to one of these younger head coaches coming in, whether Jim Schwartz stayed or not. I was looking forward to some new offensive schemes. I don't want to say trickery because trickery never works for this Cleveland Browns offense.
You talking about the Wildcat halfback pass?
Yeah. So yeah, that for example, I didn't want to see stuff like that, but I did want to see some new stuff coming out. There's where Kevin Stefanski was predictable. We could all say that, right, guys? I mean, he was very predictable.
Not only us saying that, other coaches that we had to go against they said that.
What do you say? We chew with our mouth closed.
It's very easy to prepare for Cleveland. They're predictable.
Right. So with that being said, obviously now that we have brought the Ravens offensive coaching staff here, our players to study film for playing the Browns now, are they just going to go back and watch Ravens games for the first couple weeks? See what we were doing? Like John Harbaugh, was he the one calling plays? Todd Monken?
This Ravens tape, but imagine every player out there is worse. And so no Lamar, no Mark Andrews, no Derrick Henry, no Zay Flowers. I don't know. I guess, Dan, do you know much? Like, I didn't know too much about how Baltimore's offense ran. It seems like that would be like the players I just listed off. Like you could almost get away with anything. And
yeah, and then you throw in I've got the Patrick, the big fullback they got.
Yeah.
He gets overlooked a lot. That dude is a big key to a lot of what they do.
Like the dude in San Francisco that's from Cloverleaf, use check, whatever.
Check.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was a stud back then. But he's, so, and the Browns haven't had a fullback since 2021. I remember when Stefanski came in, he was, I'm bringing in a fullback, and he had him for 2 years and handed the ball twice and then got rid of him.
Yeah, right.
And we haven't had one since. So, Bunkin was behind the offense. I mean, Harbaugh was a special teams coach before he became the head coach. So pretty much he was like the overseer of everything, but he didn't design the offense. He didn't call the plays. He didn't design the defense. He didn't call the plays. He was the overseer. So Monken's offense was Monken's offense. Mm-hmm. He designed it. He called the plays. It was his baby. And Lamar Jackson 2 years ago should have been MVP. Had an MVP type season. Broke out. Showed he could pass as well as he could run. He was the next superstar. And then last year he regressed. That's concerning when you look at it, but you don't, like I said, Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, they're not Lamar Jackson. Deshaun Watson may have been Lamar Jackson when he first came into the league, a slightly improved version, but he ain't that guy now. And I don't know if he'll ever be that guy. So
he will on our team.
Yeah. So it's like, Derrick Henry, Quinshon Judkins was showing signs of being that guy, but he's got a serious injury at the end of the year. How's he going to bounce back? So, a lot of people, they think that you're taking the guy who designed this and you throw him in there and everything's going to be magical, but you realize that he had magical players in place to make that magic work. Just like Jim Schwartz here. He had some magical players in place that made the magic work on defense. Kevin Stefanski hasn't had any magical players to make his magic work at all. And now you're bringing in Todd Monken, who, is this advanced offensive mind, what the Browns are selling us.
Supercomputer.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, you don't have he's not bringing his offensive personnel with him, maybe Tyler Huntley. But even that, he's a backup, We've had him here a couple of years. What difference is he going to make? Or Elijah Mitchell, whatever his name is, the backup running back. If somehow he shows up here, he was a backup for a reason there. Yeah. He's not going to suddenly be here and become, Derrick Henry Jr. It's like, I don't know. It's I don't know.
There's so much that the front office needs to do. Like it wouldn't if we hired Udinski or Shieldhouse, Monken. Even when we fired Stefanski, I think a lot of people were saying it. Like, dude, this is not all on. Like, this is not really Kevin's fault. Some of it, I'm sure, but like, if we don't get these guys playmakers, if we don't draft a receiver and a lineman or sign a line, I like the center from Baltimore is actually a free agent. Lindenbaum, whatever it is. Like, if we don't give Monken better players, like he could be the best offensive mind in the world, and it's not going to matter.
Yeah,
and it's kind of the sad reality of it, and why I'm still questioning why Barry is still here.
I didn't question Barry as much, but I mean, there's some question.
He had
there,
a good
obviously.
draft. I know that's the answer, but he had bad, like, I don't know. He had bad drafts, and I don't know. We don't need to get into all that, but we'll see.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into it finally. A half hour in. We got linebacker coach Jason Tarver. Tarver's helped build a solid to great linebacker groups for the Browns over the last 6 seasons. A veteran coach with over 20 years of experience, and he spent 3 seasons as a defensive coordinator from the Raiders, 2012 to 2014. He has done a good job with the linebackers for the most part. Very appreciative of that. But are you a defensive coordinator material? Would you be able to come in here and obviously you're going to take the job if you were offered the job, but can you put this defense on your back and run it the way it should be ran?
Has he been in DC before? Does anybody know?
He has.
Yeah,
and it wasn't very good.
Yeah,
I was gonna say he wasn't very good. That's funny, but there's no other teams calling him up to see if he wants to be available for a position. I haven't heard of. So I mean, I think you touched on. You touched on. He's got 20 years experience, which is really good. And if you're a linebacker coach, I think like Dan, nobody's, his phone's not ringing off the hook for him to step in somewhere else to be a defensive coordinator. So that should tell you something there as far as trying to bump a guy like that up.
I don't have the exact years in front of me, but I know he was defensive coordinator of the Raiders for 3 seasons. And I know I'm probably out of order, but I think the rankings were like 30, 31, and 32 all 3 years. And when I say, and I didn't know that, like I'm thinking, okay, this is Jason Tarver from the staff. And I looked at him like, nope.
Yeah.
Right.
Myles Garrett ain't going to magically transform your 32nd ranked defense into number 1 overnight just because you were sitting at the knees of Jim Schwartz for 3 years. I just no.
Yeah.
Just no.
So that's a no.
He made like Schwarzenegger and JOK look great, but how much of that's him versus Schwartz? And I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
So Jason Tarver, that's a no, definitely a no for Dan. It's a no for me. Logan,
for me.
No for is it a unanimous thing? Logan, where are you at?
I mean, I don't know. The Raiders are kind of like the West Coast Browns. Like maybe he just needs another shot at it. Like I don't. He'd fit right. That 32nd ranked defense. It sounds like he'd fit right in here.
Yeah, let's not jinx it. Let's not jinx it yet because they built that spaceship of a new stadium out there in Las Vegas, and they've stunk since.
Getting one here in Brook Park, Ohio. Yeah,
we're working on it.
We're gonna move, and we're gonna get off the cursed land, and we're gonna go to Brook Park, and we're gonna be better. We're building that up so people want to go there and spend all that money to go watch them Browns play. So that's that's my hopes. That's my hopes.
It worked for the Indians.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah,
kind of.
Kind of. We got here, but we didn't get here.
Right.
We were here. We were here for a long time.
Yeah. Thank you, Class A. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'll have to say no. It's hard. This ranked defense that Dan just dropped. That's enough for me to say no to. Again, might not be all his fault, but it's a hard sell to the fans once you hear that he had the 31st and 32nd ranked defense 3 years in a row.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah, maybe if you had the order wrong, Dan, maybe it was 32, 31, and 30, and he was slowly improving.
Slightly improving.
See, now that with that being said, that should tell you something about Schwartz. Now, Schwartz wanted a head coaching job. He's had one before. So what we're kind of talking about is the same thing. Nobody's ringing Schwartz up to say, hey, man, you know, the Cardinals were still looking for a guy at the time.
He's got a 2-year contract here. Nobody's going to call him.
Right. Well, he can't make a lateral move. He can make a head coaching move.
Yeah, but they got to pay for it.
Well, yeah. You're not going to keep a poison here, so you let him do what he wanted to do. But nobody's ringing the phone off for him, so he's not getting that. That would be like what we're talking about Tarver. Nobody's ringing his phone to be a defensive coordinator in any of these teams. So you know, that's the way I look at it. That's why that's a no for me.
He was at the Raiders from 2012 to 2014.
Yeah.
Like you said, like a 30 ranked 30th, 31st defense. You know,
defense was so good in practice that's why Jamarcus Russell didn't work out. Confidence down. Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, then we say the best for last for the in-house guys. We got safeties coach Ephraim Banda in his 3rd year in the Cleveland Browns and the NFL. Banda's up-and-coming coach. He was noted a few weeks ago while the head coach search was still in process as a backup plan if Schwartz departed. Banda also interviewed for the Cowboys and Jets defensive coordinator positions this offseason, and he spent time as a defensive coordinator at the college level with Utah State and the University of Miami before jumping to the Browns. So this guy shows promise. There's actually people calling him for a defensive coordinator job. He's been with this system. Yeah, I know that doesn't mean much, Logan.
I'm trying I'm really bad at cutting people off, but
well, no, you're good.
The bar is so low that all right, other teams like confirmed this guy's existence. Maybe he can actually be one of our coaches. Another team acknowledged that he's a person.
Yeah, I mean, in-house wise, that's the best option we have, and somebody that knows the system, which is going to be good for the players, I would imagine. Like Dan was saying, you know, you have that guy that knows. What's that?
Is he a younger guy?
He is 38, I think.
Yeah.
So the thing about Banda that hasn't been brought up yet is that he was supposedly, now if you believe what Mary Kay Cabot has to say,
44, sorry.
He was Jim Schwartz's right-hand man on defense. Basically, he was his like top assistant. So on the plus side, that's encouraging because, you know, if you're wanting to keep that continuity in the system and blah, 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 then why not promote the guy who was like literally at the right hand of, you know, him. Yeah. So, and the fact that 2 teams did interview him for defensive coordinator is, you know, he's not an unknown guy. You know, he's on other teams' radars. Now, granted, he didn't take either of those jobs. So take that from what you will.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's getting on radar, so that's a positive. The negative is he's never been a defensive coordinator at the NFL level before, college level. But then again, Todd Monk has never been an NFL head coach. He's been a head coach at the college level too. So it kind of fits the motif, I guess.
Yeah, well, you're right.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say you're right. There's a lot that's going to go into this as well, guys. There could be change that could be better for the team, and unfortunately, that's the unknown. No matter what coach you bring in, there's going to be some kind of change. It's not going to be just Schwartz's defense. There's going to be some things that need to be addressed with the defense, and hopefully whoever we bring in is able to address the problems and fix that. There might be a change, though. It might not be the Jim Schwartz-esque defense. I mean, anything could happen. I mean, you got to find a guy that's going to be able to do that first and foremost, that's going to want to run that defense again. And that's why the in-house guys seem to be the most valid guys to do it right now. I mean, the next guy we're going to get into is...
I wanted to touch on Banda real quick. So it looks good on paper, I think. Okay. And if he was Schwartz's big toe, he already knows the scheme. The players probably respect him. Can we say that? So you kind of, you really didn't touch on that because it's important for the players also. Who's going to be your coach now? So they're familiar with the guy. So that's another good plus. And I think that's kind of something to look at, you know. And there's things that needed to be fixed, even with Schwartz's defense. who better to know the things that needed to be fixed than a guy like Banda and the players themselves? Where did we need, what lacked, where can we fix this? So that could be where small scheme changes needed to be adjusted. And that's things that they need to work on. So as far as Banda goes, he gets a check mark by me. So
we can call the defense the Band of Brothers.
there you go.
I'm done for the day. I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, go write a song.
You go now. Go write a song.
Yeah. Go write a song about that. Oh, the Band of Brothers song. Boom. There we go. Mic drop. Use Gary's auto tune though. You got to use Gary's auto tune every time you write a song.
That was excessive.
Auto tunes couldn't help Gary out. He was struggle bus.
No, I was just looking up. I think Bando, if you I wouldn't say no to him. It seems like it could be a really good option. I was on my phone just looking up our offensive coordinator, Travis Switzer. He's never been an offensive coordinator, it doesn't look like. So that would be a very unique coaching staff build of 3 guys who have never been in that position before, between the head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator, all in those positions for the first time. Not to say it couldn't work. It would just, I don't know if that's happened before. It would be very weird.
Leave it to the Browns to do it.
Yeah. But I don't it sounds, I don't know, the idea of hiring Banda sounds like it would make sense. So we'll see.
That is interesting. That is interesting. You pointed that out.
Yeah.
Because that does raise a couple of red flags.
Yeah. So then we started when all the young names were coming out, we're like, oh, well, Haslam and Barry just want somebody to kind of that will shut up and listen to them, not a loud voice in the room. And I don't think Monken is necessarily that, but they would also have 3 inexperienced people in those positions. So could Haslam and Barry still kind of run the show? These guys don't really have any experience to fall back on in their respective positions. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a good take. I thought that's a really good take.
Agreed. I do want to read one more quote from him really quick. As he evaluates the roster and the coaching staff and builds their schemes around the players, and the rookies that are going to be added through the draft are going to be an important role, obviously. But he said, well, first off, I certainly want to be involved in all the picking and everything. I'll put it this way. Like any organization, I think when we are connected at the hip, me, Barry, and ownership, that's lost me right there. That's like, dude, stop saying ownership, please, is involved. That's what's going to kill it. I think all of us, we would like our say, but there are certain areas where you're not going to get our way. That just goes to show that Haslam's are stepping in. I think just like Andrew is going to trust the call we make that on 4th and 1, I'm going to trust the calls in the draft. But we're all involved in how we get there. I think it is a collective way of approaching it, and I think it's always best. No, it's not. We've clearly seen the last decade that it's not always the best.
Andrew Barry making those decisions, fine, but the Haslam thing makes me mad. Dude, can Jimmy Haslam sit down and tell us whether it's not Jalen Tyson, that's the Cavs player, but his brother versus Carnell Tate? Can Jimmy Haslam honestly sit there and tell us which one of those is the better player and which one to draft? He can't, but he will think that he can, and that's the player that we'll pick. And it's like, this dude, no way, he has no mind to be making those type of decisions.
What if I'm going to do some reckless speculation? What if Jimmy's not the big meddler?
Yeah.
No, what if he's not the big meddler? What if he goes home and he sits down and he's laying down in bed at night and he's like, D, I need your opinion again. And she's been running this the whole time. Reckless speculation. And they sit down in their bed and they got ideas on a dartboard and they throw darts at it. They're like, well, let's see if we
man.
What do you think, D? Yeah, go with that. Do it. Just do it. Tell Barry I said so. I was like, oh man, you've been running it the whole time.
Oh man. Jimmy off to Berea with a little note in his pocket on what to say and do that day at the office.
Yeah. they say happy life or happy wife. So, She's usually down there with them during training camp. She does come down there, and it was a joke. Everybody don't take it serious. I'll get, this guy's an idiot.
You know what, though?
I do a little bit better with that if it was her than him.
You know what, though? There is an example that I can point out to you that where Dee Haslam did step in and make a call. 2017, I believe. Right before Stefanski and Mayfield and everybody. Hugh Jackson was still the coach. They at the trade deadline were about to make a trade for AJ McCarron from the Bengals. And Sashi Brown, either intentionally or just because he's incompetent or a combination of both, didn't get the paperwork in time in the deadline, and the trade fell through. Reportedly, Dee Haslam was so furious that she ran and got into Sashi Brown's face and just started cussing him up, down, left, right, this and that. And 2 days later, he was fired.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
We need some of that. Maybe she can be our defensive coordinator, and Miles won't be able to say shit.
There's some truth to my spidey senses there, Dan. Thank you for that confirmation. He's like, hold on a minute. Hey, you're not too far off, buddy. She actually was involved. She had some involvement.
In the middle of our our worst 2 seasons run of all time, I forgot that happened. That we we couldn't find a quarterback. We're in the middle of 1-31. We're trying to trade for one, and the GM didn't get the paperwork in time.
Well, the last 5 years for us as Browns fans has completely wiped all the other crap that has happened in the last couple other decades off the map, because we just escalated the worstness every year.
Except for 2007, Braylon Edwards. We all remember.
You bring up Braylon Edwards every single show.
That's his guy. He's a Michigan dude, of course.
It doesn't matter if he led the league in drops. He also had 17 touchdowns. It doesn't matter. And then got him by LeBron's friends, and we kicked him out of the city. So
you're saying they should have retired his jersey here? Is that what you're saying?
You should have kept Braylon Edwards over LeBron. That's my take.
Dang.
No way. Do not make that a clip. That was a joke.
Going down. Angel, are you out there? Work on that. Get that in
there. Clip that right now.
LeBron, I'm joking. I know you watch the show. Please just come back next year for one final run.
Yeah, one more championship.
Yeah, I think we're good without him. I think we got Harden. We're good.
Yeah, we'll just get Bronny James. That's fine.
12th man of the year.
Charlie Bullen, Giants outside linebackers coach, withdrew from the defensive coordinator job in Cleveland yesterday. I think that's got to be one of those speculations again where we're like, hey man, you're going to run this defense. And he was like, no, I mean, I'll gladly come to you guys and I'll interview for this, but I'm not running somebody else's defense. I want to run things my way. And that's another part of speculation where that could be it. We'll never know, obviously, but could have been a good pickup. Possibly.
Haslam got him on the phone and told him what was up. Dee Haslam said that you're running Jim Schwartz's defense.
And then I'm going to bake cookies and bring them down for a whole
team.
Yeah. In a perfect world.
Jimmy's out there scamming truckers. So she runs things.
So the other guy, I'm going to say the best for last, guys. Jonathan Cooley, Carolina Panthers, 35 years old, defensive pass coordinator, a John Carroll product with experience under the same defensive tree. You guys watch the Carolina Panthers. Are they even relevant anymore? Like, dude, I know they're
a lot better than we are.
Yeah, they made the playoffs.
They drafted a quarterback, and you know what they did the next year or 2 years later? They drafted him a receiver to throw to.
Yeah,
it's mind blowing. They gave their quarterback a weapon. They made the playoffs, though. Yeah,
we don't get to have nice things in Cleveland. I just forget about all the other teams that were non-existent and then actually came up and did things.
They traded their best player, and now they're better than they ever were when they had McCaffrey.
That is insane.
Yeah,
but it just goes to show that people work with different schemes. That is a true statement. That happens. You watched it with Tyson Campbell this year.
So this dude was from John Carroll, where he came up through there.
Yes, John Carroll guy.
John Carroll does have a very, very strong pipeline to the NFL in the coaching ranks. So it seems like that's kind of become the new Miami of Ohio. You know, back in the day, Miami, Ohio was known as the cradle of coaches because all the coaches started there and they went on to do bigger and better things. And now it seems like John Carroll has become that place. So from that aspect, you know, we could be potentially seeing I don't want to say diamond in the rough, but a potential gem unpolished. Maybe, you know, he has the pedigree for it. You know, so and apparently he's from the same coaching tree as Schwartz, though he's not like unfamiliar with the scheme.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a bonus. You know, maybe bringing a different voice isn't a bad thing, especially if you don't trust the voice that's already there. So that might not be a bad thing, you know, but then you run the risk of, you know, how bad does Myles Garrett get pissed off now because he doesn't like this guy? So,
yeah.
You know, it's like I said, I go back to the fine line that you're walking right now.
Very fine line. It is a very fine line that we were speaking of.
I will bring up Mike Ruttenberg from Atlanta Falcons, defensive pass game coordinator. No, he can stay with Stefanski over there. That's fine. See you. Bye-bye. Don't even come to Cleveland. I'm not a fan. I didn't even put up a bunch of his stuff here because I'm not. And I know that's selfish of me, but no.
I'm actually curious, man. I don't know about you guys, and he's going to be topic anyways. But I'm curious to see how things do work out for Stefanski over there at Atlanta, you know. And, you know, I'm going to watch some of them games. If they're on, the Browns ain't on, I'm going to watch that. I'm going to see what's going on over there.
I think he'd like here, his biggest question mark is going to be quarterback.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely. Yeah.
All of a sudden they're looking to run out his buddy Kirk after he just got there. So now you got Michael Penix Jr. is still, you don't know what he is. He's been injured. He's been erratic. He's been up and down, you know, and Stefanski hasn't exactly worked with that type of quarterback here in Cleveland that well, you know, so it's going to be interesting, but he's got talent everywhere else. Bijan Robinson is going to be a fucking beast this year. Sorry. Beast this year.
Yeah. Running back, right? Bijan? Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's
Kyle Pitts. I feel bad for him, man. He had a good year he's like the fantasy tight end number one. Everybody, like, you've been drafting him in the first or second round for a couple years and he hasn't done anything. And then last year he actually did really, like, he started to come on. And now it's like, I don't like seeing what Stefanski's offense does. Like, does that just put the blanket over him again? And he does, like, it's not like it's a creative offense. It's going to get this physical freak the ball.
The tight ends have done well here in Cleveland.
That's fair. Yeah.
I mean, Njoku had his best year under Stefanski.
Yeah.
And Fannin was a lot better than we anticipated this year under the Stefanski offense. So I honestly think Pitts is going to be in good shape too.
Yeah, that's
you know, it's just a matter of which quarterback's going to get him, who's going to get him the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Speaking of tight ends, you know, we know David's he's on his way out, which we all kind of seen that. He's not going to play second fiddle to Fannin. I think he's seen a turning of the tides over there. But and hats off to David. Thank you for all that you put in, and you know, I wish you well wherever you go, and continue to be the tight end, man, that you are. But Todd Monken, you know, tight ends. You know, I think we're going to see a lot more tight end, 3-set tight end types packages. I mean, I think he's focused on that. So, you know, they, you know, we got Fannin. He is your hybrid tight end. We talked about it before.
Hybrid.
So, yeah. Hybrid, whatever. So we're going to have to, yeah, I think, I don't know, they might, draft might look like you might have to pick up another tight end. I got a guy in mind, but we're going to wait till next week to talk about that.
Yeah, because we got the combine coming up. We'll hit that real quick. Combine coming up February 22nd to March 2nd at Lucas Oil Stadium, where it's at every year. That beautiful dome down there.
Yeah, wait till it's in Brick Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
back to Stefanski real quick. He might not be too good over there with Baker Mayfield talking shit to him. Baker, he threatened him and said we have to play him twice a year, whatever it was. So good to see Baker. Like, he hasn't really grown up at all. That was interesting.
It's something to watch though too, man. I want to see, how that goes down. Those are games to watch right there.
I cannot wait to see
Tampa versus Atlanta.
I can't wait to see Stefanski on the sideline, just motionless, just shaking his head. Didn't they just lose somebody on their team too? The Atlanta Falcons, like somebody got a domestic dispute.
Yeah,
it was their rookie, right?
Defensive.
It was a coach.
Oh,
I believe.
I was thinking of somebody like a first round rookie just recently got charged with something too somewhere.
I did see that.
So it's not just
it was a battery charge and something else.
Yeah.
Pierce.
James Pierce.
James Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
Facing 5 felonies after an incident involving WNBA player Rocca Jackson, which could lead to a big suspension. So
5 felonies.
Yeah.
He was
not
released
4, Chad. 5.
$20,500 bond last Sunday.
I can't even tell any of my jokes because we're live right now, Dan.
Yeah. So welcome to the ATL, Stefanski.
I was going to say if he gets it up to 20 felonies, he'll get a $250 million guaranteed contract here.
Yeah. Yeah. The defensive end. Where did I go? So yeah, we got Aubrey Present from the LA Rams, guys. Age 38, hometown. Logan's gonna love this. Flint, Michigan. Went to Wisconsin, NFL. No NFL playing experience. No Browns connection. Or no, I'm sorry, his Browns connections. He served as a coaching intern for the Browns under the head coach Rob Chudzinski, everybody's favorite, during the 2013 training camp. And no Todd Monken connections.
He was here for the first.
He saw the beginning of the dysfunction.
Yeah. He probably is the one that rolled out
before the preseason. They let him show up for mini camp and then fired him.
Yeah. But now, obviously, the LA Rams have a pretty decent defense, so it's not a total no for me. But there is one other. I mean, what do you guys think of Aubrey Pleasant from the LA Rams? 38 years old, so somewhat young, and a Flint, Michigan guy. Logan's like, yeah, guys, let's do this.
I don't like the state of Michigan.
So what do you got against Michigan?
Yeah, let me call the entire state of Michigan out. Flint. Yeah. Flint. Every time I hear Flint, I think of that
Badwater,
Jackie Moon, Flint Tropics, the semi-pro Will Ferrell movie.
Oh.
So I only like the Wolverines because of Charles Woodson, who is from Fremont, Ohio. When I was a kid, Woodson was balling out. I asked my dad where he's from, and he said he was from Fremont, which was like 30 minutes from where I grew up. So that's the story behind that. No time.
It took you 10 minutes or 10 shows to tell me that.
I said it's the first show, and you guys still brought me back, which I was surprised.
Oh, well, learn something new every day.
Have you heard the Charles Woodson story that came out about the Browns this week?
No. Do I want to know? I'm going to be a Ohio State fan when this is done. Yeah.
Oh, you will. Oh, no, you won't. It doesn't. Well, apparently he was going to buy into the Browns and be a minority owner, like a 2% stake in the team, and give the Browns like a an NFL face or whatever. And he was all about it, and they had the paperwork all signed. But I guess the NFL basically told him that he wasn't allowed to put out a brand of wine with his name on it. Apparently that goes against their code of conduct or whatever. And Woodson was making too much money off of his wine to give up his business. So he basically told the NFL and the Browns, thanks, but no thanks, I'm out.
So he's probably the millionth person in history that gave up the Browns before giving up alcohol.
Pretty much.
Oh, man, me, you, and Sam. Man,
we're the 3 people in history that chose the Browns over drinking.
I used to be a big drinker when I was younger. I'm not anymore. I had some beers at my Super Bowl party, but
yeah,
my vice is somewhere else.
Yeah. Is it the Browns? Is that what you get?
It's part of it. It's part of it.
But they wear green helmets.
They do wear green helmets.
So yeah, we'll have to. I think he has his whiskey now too. So you have to let us know how that is. The Woodson whiskey, but
not Woodford Reserve.
Woodford Reserve. I don't know.
I'm just messing with you. I miss bourbon. Of all things, that's the one thing I do miss.
All right, yeah, we're gonna extend this show by another 4 hours and start talking drinking here.
Yeah, with 3 guys that haven't drank, and
I got the stories, so I'll start. Yeah.
That will not be PG for me.
Yeah.
So
by the way, God bless you guys in your sobriety.
Hey, appreciate it, man.
Thank you. Back on task here. I saved the best for last, guys. The best outside of the building. Corey Unlin from the Houston Texans, 54 years old. I almost read what Sam said. Let's not forget to bring him up. It's because it's in the notes now. His Browns connections aren't going to make anybody happy. That he came with Romeo Crennel from the New England Patriots in 2005 to serve multiple roles over the 4 seasons. Crennel was head coach. I would have rather had this guy just jump in as a head coach rather than Romeo Crennel, but his Todd Monken connections, he worked with Monken from 2009 to 10. Monken was a wide receivers coach in Jacksonville with the Jags, and Unlin was a defensive assistant and defensive backs coach. This guy's, I think this might be the better outside source option. If we had to pick somebody, bring in somebody completely fresh, it would be good for this team. And I think with his knowledge of the defense alone will be a big plus for us. Out of all the other guys, this is my guy. I would give him a big yes.
He was in the same building as 2007 Braylon Edwards. So I'll have to give him
keep reverting back to that day. You had me at Romeo Crennel. No, I'm joking, but no, I don't know. I kind of like what I see on the limb here. If we're of all the guys we have talked about, I'm not gonna put them at a 1 or a 2, but it's the standout names are Underland to me and in-house Efren Banda. That's my
only question with Underland is I see that he's a Romeo Crennel guy. Romeo Crennel runs a 3-4 defense. Is Underland a 3-4 guy or a 4-3 guy? Because it's a 3-4 guy, keep him the hell out of here.
It's not never. Yeah, 3-4 defense is never going to work here. Miles will probably look at that and be like, yeah, that's nah.
It's not conducive to Myles Garrett's strength. You got to build your, and that's why when people were talking about Brian Flores as a possibility, I'm like, no, he runs a different scheme. It'll never work. No,
right. And I think like that's some of why that even if Schwartz is gone, they're keeping that scheme because Miles and Denzel and those guys are used to that, especially up front. You got to have 4 guys down front.
Yeah.
You Dan, you guys all know 3-4 defense is not what we have now with the guys that we have up front. We didn't go get Grams and Miles and stuff like that to have a 3-4 defense. 3-4 defense, you have to have 4 badass linebackers, period. So
like a tiny Ted Washington. Remember we had him out there just eat up 2 guys on the offensive line.
Yeah, so that's
60 pounds.
But if you're a defensive guy, I'm sure one would hope multiple defensive schemes. You should. So I don't think that he would. I mean, there's no way he's coming here and we're switching up to a 3-4 defense if they choose to go with Underland. There's no way. It's not happening. We're not the guys that we have, we're not built for that here.
Yeah. That's my only concern with that. And like I said, I didn't do enough research on him to see what his background is. I just see the names he's linked to, and I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, that's the downfall. But I think if he comes here and sees that the 3-4 is not going to work and sees what happens with the 4-3 defense, I think he'll be like, all right, man, why the hell are we not doing this everywhere else? But
let me ask you guys this: since we went through all this, these are defensive prospects. And if there's somebody that hasn't been mentioned, you can mention them now. I just gave you my top 2 guys in no particular order would be Banda and Underland. Do you guys, where out of all the guys we talked about, or if there's another guy out there, Dan or Logan, that you've been keeping your eye on, there's a good time to talk about it now. Is so like your top 2 guys for the job right now. What are you looking at? Let's start with Dan.
I kind of agree with you, Sam. I think Banda is the number 1 choice for the in-house, and probably my number 1 choice overall, just because of the familiarity. Honestly, and I don't want to be this guy because I don't like to give players that much power. But I would hire the guy that Myles Garrett says I want to play for that guy, because you're at this point. I mean, Myles Garrett's 31 years old. He's already set a record. You're paying him like he's the best defense player in the league, which he is, for the long haul. And if you're going to listen to one guy on the team and get his opinion and say, okay, we're going to go with it, it's him. I think he's earned it. And if Myles says I want to play for Banda, then you hire Banda. Myles says I want to play for Tarver, hire Tarver. To me, that's what you should. If you're Jimmy Haslam and you don't know your head from your ass, and you're getting all these opinions, and you call Myles Garrett and you say, okay, Myles, who do you want to be your guy? And hang up the phone and hire him, and that's it.
Yeah, that's what I talked about. We talked about that earlier. I touched on it. I said, you got to take some of your. I even brought Denzel Ward's name into the picture here. There's certain guys on your defense that you want to sit down with and have a conversation with. One would assume, Haslam and Barry, they're bringing a guy in. They want their opinion. Who else better to get an opinion from than your players? And I understand what you mean. You don't want to give players too much, say. And yeah. But in the same token, you kind of want their feedback for sure, especially some of your top players on that defense.
Right. Happy wife, happy life, happy players, happy success.
There you go. Logan,
it didn't rhyme, but hey, it makes Cleveland sense.
That's all right. Logan, you got to.
Yeah, I think Banda probably makes the most sense. The John Carroll guy, I think I'd be a little bit biased there just because of John Carroll. But I think Banda probably makes the most sense. And I think Dan, what he said is exactly what I would do. I guess Jimmy wouldn't be making the call, but have D Haslam call Myles Garrett. And I just I'm just glad we made it through Super Bowl week without our best player trashing us on the national news every chance he could, like we did last year. And I never want to go through that again. So it's I think if Myles gives a name, then everybody on that defense would have probably the same exact opinion. If he wants to play for Banda, I'm sure most of them do. And I think at this point, you're trying to save face with that defense because they just lost to the guy that they all wanted to play for. So now figure out who the next one would be.
And even though he's not an option, would you be opposed to making Braylon Edwards the defensive coordinator, Logan?
I think he'd be, if you lined him up as receiver, he'd easily be able to find all of the holes in our defense. He wouldn't catch it. But he'd be able to get open and be able to fix our problems in the secondary.
That was your sincere moment from Logan Bruce.
Yeah,
I make fun of Braylon Edwards because was it Charlie Fry back then too? Correct, guys?
Yeah.
And I always remember him and Braylon Edwards. They did a French fry, they did a fast food thing together, and I don't know if it was McDonald's. I think it might have been McDonald's. They were doing a McDonald's commercial, and my thing was with Braylon, he quits eating all them greasy fries for game time. Him and Charlie Fry, whatever, maybe he'll hang on to a ball. It's just.
I remember that commercial.
Yeah, they pull up in the drive.
He came right out and said that the fans didn't like him from day one because he was from Michigan, and even as a Michigan guy, it's dude, you can't. Don't say that. If you can catch the football and score, they'll love you. They don't care where you're from.
Absolutely.
Why I'd be all about us getting Carnell Tate. If the dude can play, I don't care. I just want the Browns to win games.
Yeah, Mason Graham. I don't
Mason
care.
Graham, yeah. Julius Peppers, I don't think he wasn't great or anything, but nobody had a problem when we actually drafted him because he was an exciting player.
Leroy Horde and Tom Darden are two of arguably legendary Browns from different eras, and they both played for the University of Michigan. So,
and I'd like me some Leroy Horde, man.
Oh, he ran tough.
Everybody
Fumbled a lot, but he ran tough.
Yeah, he was a bruiser. He was a bruiser.
The Michigan guys, we can do one or two things well, holding on to the ball, maybe not so much, but
as Browns fans, we embrace. I don't think that they're like Michigan guy, or because look at when we had Jamal Lewis came from Baltimore, and then we were all like, I'm like, cool, man, let's go. We got stuff to do. We got games to win. So
that's a little bit different for me. I don't care what college you come from. I really don't. If you're a good player and you come to our team, then you're here. That's fine. I'm cool with that. But when the Baltimore thing was still fresh and Jamal Lewis came here, I was like, bro, you better run your ass off, man. Because nobody likes you. I know he did.
Yeah, he came here. He was a Brown.
College and NFL is different. Coming from a rivalry team,
yards like he did against us, but I mean,
he did run for 260 one game. I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the Bengals game.
So it was all glory days, but I don't think we've ever really had those. It's just
right. And the one thing I would say that for all of us, I'm tired of the misfit toy guys we bring here. Yeah. I'm tired of the guys with baggage already. I'm tired with guys with impending lawsuits. I'm tired of guys that were cancer sores on the other teams they played for. I'm tired. So we got a little bit of extra money. Please do not waste any of our money on a guy that is a team wrecker, not good in the rooms with his teammates. We always seem to always try to give these guys a chance. They get here and it's not. It's what you got, man. Let's not go out here and get any more problem childs. We don't need that here. Please.
Dan, was it actually you that said like the Browns? I think like we can't help but joining the circus, whatever it was. I think
yes, we can't help putting the circus tent up and getting a front row seat.
Right.
Jimmy Haslam loves him the circus.
Rolling out the red carpet.
And you're back to your point, Sam. We don't have the culture here to rein some of these people in. Like Pittsburgh has that. Like you can take an Antonio Brown who's who's effing whacked out of his head and turn him into an all-pro receiver, but he goes somewhere else and he's Coco in the Cabezas. So it's like
Did you say Jerry Jeudy? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we don't, we bring in these guys. They had some problems, but we're going to give them a chance here because we believe in his talent. Jadeveon Clowney was one. That dude was a head case, and he didn't mesh with Miles at all, and ran his mouth about him and everything else like that. So I mean, even college, drafting these guys that were, had checkered pasts or, were the me first, team second type people. And what happens when they come here? Me first, team second, and they immature and they run their mouths and they sleep through meetings and everything else like that. And here we are. You can't just coach up certain people. Certain people just come the way that they are, and it's best to keep them away because if you keep bringing them in, then the whole house crumbles, and then you're left with the term dysfunction, which is permeated ever since Jimmy bought the team, and it keeps getting louder and louder and louder and stronger and stronger and stronger, and eventually something's got to change, and you don't change it by bringing the circus to town.
Yeah, well, they say if you continue to do the same things over and over that don't work or are negative in your life, that's insanity. So it's insane to keep doing this. It don't usually never ever work. One guy I can kind of think of, and maybe you guys can agree on me with me or not. That's fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Is we took a chance bringing Kareem Hunt here. He had some problems going on Kansas City at the time, and I think he did pretty well here. Especially running tandem with Nick Chubb.
Is it funny that his incident happened in Cleveland?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you'll have that. He's a hometown boy, right?
Yeah, he is.
Well, you're going to go home and you might get in hometown trouble. So, that's one guy that kind of stands out that kind of turned things around, actually knew that, hey, I got a bigger career ahead of me. I got to knock it off. It's time to tighten up, and he did. So, And I still like watching Kareem run. He was, he was the opposite of Chubb. Chubb was Chubb. And then anytime he would get me nervous sometimes because I'm like, he's going to fumble because he would just be out there like a Tasmanian devil.
Throws his body around. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, spinning. And I'm he's like a tornado, but it was fun to watch. And it was a good guy to back up Chubb. It's when we had our coach Mike. We had him on the show. Stump Mitchell here. I mean, I like that. So. Which I wish they would have reached out to Stump. I don't have nothing against Deuce Staley, but it would have been nice if they would have. If you're already going through changing some staff, and if you're already bringing back guys that used to be here. I actually like Stump Mitchell as a running backs coach. But
so do I. But you got to think these are two different realms of running backs. Now it
don't matter. Stump's a running back guru. You put him there and he'll coach him up. He's
I agree. Deuce Staley's got a pretty good record going. So
he was a hell of a running back too.
Yeah.
I'm cool with Deuce Staley.
Is he our running back coach now?
Deuce Staley? Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's the one holding far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He came after Stump.
Stump, yeah.
I don't know how I didn't know that.
Learn something new every day.
We got a couple. I do want to hit up quarterbacks real quick. Obviously, it being the dreading issue of the last 5 years. Well, I guess the last 26 years, we could say that.
Since 99.
Yeah. So we guys, we have Shedeur Sanders, the rookie. What was that? Was that Dan sighing when I said Shedeur Sanders?
Inadvertently, I must have. Yeah,
it just happened.
He got a little choked up because he's thinking back on his Pro Bowl season.
Yeah. Yeah, we got Pro Bowler Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, supercomputer. You guys can't forget Bailey Zappi. I mean, anything's possible. We went to 5 quarterbacks in 1 year. And there's a possibility that we could draft a quarterback. But I guess the question to you guys is, with Deshaun Watson having the possibility to start this year, obviously being a veteran in the league and having a great career over at Texas, but then completely abolishing everything he's ever worked for, and then coming to Cleveland, the circus, he has a possibility to play this year after coming off that injury. So with that being said, this fan base, do you guys think, obviously as soon as he comes out, and I watched it against Dallas, as soon as he came out, everybody booed him. This guy is going to have to be spot on, perfect QB rating, no picks, touchdowns every drive for this fan base to even start loving him. 5 games, win back to back to back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it happening. I really don't. Realistically speaking, I just don't. What do you guys? What's your guys' take on that?
Yeah, that's what I said last week. Was just not saying it's what I want. I just have the feeling that I don't know if you lined him and Shedeur up in training camp this coming season, like there's a good chance that Watson outperforms Sanders. I don't know if that will actually happen, but like it's very possible that he does, just from experience, and he's not, throwing interceptions off of one leg, running the wrong way. But like you said, it's just one of those things. Like I mentioned it last week also, when Gabriel came in for 2 plays because Shedeur got hurt and nobody in the stadium knew it, the entire stadium started booing him, not knowing that Shedeur like physically was injured and couldn't be out there. And I think the same thing will happen with Watson. Those games are the darkest games I've ever been, like when it's just so negative in that building. And I don't know, I don't know if they take that into account when they're making these decisions, knowing that like it's going to be extremely negative and the whole stadium hates this guy. Like that's what my question is. If he's better, do we play him anyway, knowing that the entire stadium hates him?
Todd Monken is not. Here's what he's not going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Monken is not going to put a guy that he does not think is the guy for that position. Okay, so training camp comes and say we draft another guy, we get another quarterback, say we get a guy free agency. I mean, there was talk about Malik Willis.
Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Malik Willis. Okay, so there's guys that are coming up on the radar. Monken's gonna put whoever is that training camp that's gonna happen and how it's gonna go down. He's gonna put the best man forward. If Deshaun Watson's looking good, really good in training camp, he's gonna be the guy. He's not gonna put. I firmly believe he's not gonna put Shedeur Sanders out there just because his name's Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
I don't see it. Dylan Gabriel. I think Monken is gonna put the best guy forward with who he has. That's what you do. And I'm not a fan of Watson, but if they look at him and they go, you know what, this guy has been standout. He's looking really good. We're going to go ahead and roll with it. All right, we're going to roll with it. And if he starts winning games, these fans ain't going to care. We come out, win 4 or 5 games in a row. You think they're going to still hate on Watson every time he comes out there and boom? No,
but he's going to have to redeem himself. Obviously, I mean, that's a lot, man. 4 years.
That would be just like Shedeur. A lot of people are saying Shedeur Sanders should be the guy because he showed signs of life. Myles Garrett had even said this. And he won out the end of the season for us. He got 2 more wins. So
I wouldn't say he got us those wins.
Well,
true.
Right. No, true. But he was showing flashes is what they've been saying. So
he didn't lose.
Right. Yeah. So you're not. What if Shedeur, if he's showing that he's the better QB1 in training camp, you're going to go with Shedeur. They bring in, another guy, whoever. You're going to put the best man forward. I firmly believe that that's what they're going to do. And they have to. If you want to go change this defense or this offense, I'm sorry, and you want to go win games and you brought Monken here and all this staff from Baltimore and you're rounding these guys up to have a competitive offense to go match this defense. We hope now because now we're in limbo on a defensive coordinator. So you put your best
hurry up, man. Dan is shaking, waiting to say his mind, speak his mind. Yeah,
you put your best man forward. Can we agree on that? Are you going to put a guy out there just to put a guy out there?
Yeah, definitely. Do we have a best man, Dan? Let's hear what you have to say.
I actually kind of agree with Sam. I think that everybody's coming in with a clean slate, and I think that he'll go with the guy that he believes has the most talent, that he believes will lead to more victories. And in my opinion, I think right now that's going to be Watson. According to I'll throw back to the beat writers we all love and hate. They claim that when Watson's practice window was open, he was the best quarterback on the practice field. So if he's already the best quarterback on the practice field when he's just freshly off of 2 torn Achilles tendons with a full year of offseason, I would say that logically he's going to come in and be the better quarterback. And you're paying him already, so you can't get rid of him. He's already there. I mean, if he comes in and he looks like the bum that he was, 2 years ago when he mercifully tore his Achilles and put everybody out of their collective misery, he's not going to play. They're going to pay him $30 million to be a clipboard holder and say, enjoy collecting your money, and then we'll see you next year.
The most expensive guy Cleveland will ever have on a bench.
Yep.
Potentially.
But if he comes in and I'm not saying he's got to be Houston Watson. That's probably unrealistic at this point. But if he's a shade like Houston Watson, then he's going to play. They're going to say, okay, earn your money. You got a chance to you're going to be a free agent next year, so your career's on the line. Here you go. Don't screw it up. I'll bring up an example. 1993, Bernie Kosar, as we all remember, was unceremoniously released mid-season and allowed to go to the Cowboys. And Belichick was very vilified in town for that. And he promoted, first was Todd Wilcox because Vinny Testaverde was hurt. But eventually Vinny Testaverde got the job. And at the very beginning, there were a lot of Browns fans were very anti-Vinny because he wasn't Bernie. He replaced Bernie. He came here to replace Bernie, the whole whatever. And in 1994, the Browns won 11 games and made the playoffs and won a playoff game with Vinny Testaverde at quarterback. The following year, midway through the year, Belichick decides to bench Vinny Testaverde for a rookie, and Browns fans got pissed that Vinny Testaverde got benched. So it can happen. People can come back around to somebody they initially didn't like if the key is the big W. You got to win games.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how. And it would be helpful if you didn't throw, 15 interceptions each time, but if you win games, chances are they're going to say, okay, let's see what this guy can do. Let's see what happens. And then, that's kind of where I'm at with that. If Shedeur comes in and takes himself seriously and, is actually the better quarterback, then yeah, play him, then let's see what the kid has in year 2 and, build off of his progress. But, Monken doesn't really care where you got drafted. Monken doesn't care who you were drafted by. Monken doesn't care how much money you're making, how long you've been here. He's looking at, legitimately, he's got to win now if he's going to succeed because he's old and he's, this is his first time coaching. Browns, if you suck as a first time head coach of the Browns, you never coach again. So this is, he's got to win. So he's going to go with whoever he looks at that's going to win games. And he's not going to care what the outside noise says, what the fan base thinks or whatever. He's going to win his way, and you're either going to come around to it or you're not going to win at all, and you're going to be gone, and you're going to say, hey, remember that guy?
Right. And we speak upon real quick, too. I'll touch base on, I'll bring up, when Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets. His first game, Achilles, gone, done. And he was able to bounce back and go to Pittsburgh, and I thought it wasn't going to work. Well, it looked not bad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he was even out there scrambling. He ain't the scrambler he used to be, 40 years old. Deshaun Watson ain't going to be the guy he was when he was with the Texans. That's been long gone. He sat so long, I already felt that wasn't going to be coming back around anyway. So it's putting your best man forward. I quick clips down here. I know you love Shedeur. And if Shedor's looking great, play him. If Watson's looking great, play him. If Zappy's looking great, play him.
Don't play him.
If Gabriel's looking great, these are guys that are on your roster.
Yeah.
You put the best guy forward. You don't just put the guy out there and go, all right, Shedeur Sanders. And then what happens if Shedeur comes out and he's 0-5? You roll with that the rest of the season? Are we going to have pull quarterbacks out again? And have this whole thing, this carousel again? I just don't. You put the best guy out there, and you give him. It's a no-brainer. You just do it. And I'm not a Shedeur hater. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. I want to win games. You win games by putting your best guys out there and putting them in positions to do great. So that comes from coaching. So we got a lot to look forward to for that.
Logan,
I think whoever's out there, we need to help them. They need somebody to throw the ball to, and they need people to protect them. I want Shedeur to succeed. I think, like I always go to the energy in the stadium. Just from like being at the games. Like I don't know. It's when it's super negative there, it sucks. I remember when Sanders started warming up on the sidelines. I wasn't at Mayfield's first game, but a couple of my buddies were, and they said it was like similar vibes. Was just like, dude, like Sanders is warming up. It was exciting. Like I want Sanders to succeed. And if that means that he has to sit behind Watson for a year, if Watson ends up being better, then fine. Who knows but again, nobody's going to succeed if they don't have a wide receiver 1 to throw to. It doesn't matter. If our wide receiver 1 is our tight end, it's not really going to work. So
yeah, I agree 100%. I'm going to bring up this comment and I'm going to speak my mind. Quick clips. You guys believe everything Cleveland Browns tell you? Watson's not better than Sanders at all. I'm gonna clear that up right now. Yeah, I'm gonna clear that up right now. Quick clips. Thank you for commenting, but I'm gonna tell you something, man. We're actual fans. We're not just Shedeur Sanders fans. And yes, I want the best guy on the field to win. That's going to win games out there. But you bring anybody here, nobody's going to be able to do it right now. As this team sits right now, it'll never happen. You need an offensive line to block your guys. You need wide receivers that can catch the ball and get open. Nobody. You could bring Tom Brady back in his prime right now, and it will not happen. I can promise you that. I don't care how supercomputer you think you are, how smart you are, how better you can scramble than the next guy. This offense is complete shit right now, and it's not going anywhere with anybody until you solve the problems at hand. And you're not going to do it by drafting another quarterback and look like a complete moron. You need to get positional pieces. You don't pick the best guy at the draft at whatever position is best. You pick up the pieces you need to fix this offense this year as much as you possibly can. You know what? I don't like Deshaun Watson. But if he is better, then yeah, play him. Win games. Win Cleveland back somehow. Maybe you can get yourself another contract at the end. Shedeur Sanders, you hold on to the ball, yes, but you don't have time because you don't have receivers open and you're not having anybody block for you. Play football, man. That's all I want these dudes to do. I don't give a shit about how much money you make. I don't give a shit about who you think you are or who you have been or who your daddy is. Go out there and play this sport you claim to love. I am so over the bullshit. Just play football. Do what you love to do. That's what you claim every day you wake up, man. I wish I can get $1 million a day to wake up. Get your head out of your fucking ass, man. Go play football. I don't give a fuck who the quarterback is, as long as you're winning games. I'm over this shit, man. Quick clips. Quit being a Shedeur fan and become a Browns fan. If you dealt with this shit the last 30 years, you would understand what we're all saying. I'm so over it, man. It's just mental breakdown times. Happy Saturday. Happy Valentine's Day. Fuck everything.
On
Over
that
it, man.
note.
So Mike's clearly a Dylan Gabriel guy, it sounds like. No, I think, that's where it gets, like just because we're saying that Watson might be better than Shedeur this training camp, that doesn't, like, I'm not rooting for Watson or Shedeur either way. Like, I mean, I want Shedeur to do well. I want the Browns to do well. I'm not rooting against Sanders because of who his dad. Like, I like Shedeur. I'm actually a big Shedeur fan myself.
So am I.
If he's not
I like
good,
him too. I don't have nothing against the kid. I had nothing against Dylan Gabriel either. But
I don't care who it is.
His play to me proved that he ain't the guy.
Yeah, and that also might be, and we'll be fair to Dylan, just like we are the other guys. Like, the team sucked, the offense was bad. Like, I don't like quick clips. Like, we should all be happy. If we're Sanders fans, we should be happy that he didn't start 17 games last year.
Who's to tell the midget can't come out and dominate with Todd Monken at coach?
That's not nice, possible. Mike. That's not nice.
We represent the Munchkin land. Sorry.
I did that without auto. I mean, if the offensive Gabriel takes to the offense and it lights up the Oregon in him, then trot him out there. Let's see what happens. I don't think personally he's going to be on the team this time beginning of next year. But
his fiance told us the whole team loves him. His fiance guaranteed us that the Browns roster wants him to play. So
Myles Garrett even said, they asked him about Shedeur, and he says, yeah, we definitely want to have him a part of this team. We want to have him, he showed flashes, but he also said that they want, because the guy asked him, he goes, well, there's other guys in that quarterback room. And even Myles is there. He's a player on the team, if you didn't know. And he goes, nope, nothing's given. You got to earn anything here. You got to earn that spot. And whoever earns that spot, that's going to be the guy we roll with on the offense. That's coming from Myles. That says something. That's how a true Browns fan should think. Okay. And if you're just a Shedeur fan, I mean, because when Shedeur came here, I'm sure he brought a lot of people here for sure. He's the name. He's the guy. He's the big ticket. He's the big prize. He's Deion Sanders' son. That's all great, man. But I want the best guy forward. Does Watson pass better than Sanders in the comments down here? Quick clips. Who is more accurate? Quick clips. Who has better mobility? Quick clips. We're going to find out.
Yeah, we don't know.
In training camp. You're going to get your questions answered in training camp. We have to wait till that time. Who's better at mobility? Maybe Sanders is. I mean, Sanders didn't have an Achilles tear. Okay, I get that. I understand that. Who's more accurate? There's a question mark there, buddy.
Yeah, this is rookie year. I mean, we're going to find out a lot this year. It's like Baker, kind of. How many offensive coordinators did Baker go through at his time here?
Yeah.
Monken was one of them.
Yeah, exactly. So you take that into consideration, obviously, guys. You have to, right? I mean, you got a whole new offensive mindset coming in, and that could work, but you need to pick up those key pieces. Obviously, I've said this before. Again,
Mike, don't start screaming again. He's just trying to troll us with it. He's got
no. I'm not. But you got your offense. It starts at your offensive line, guys. It all starts with your offensive line, and our guys are getting older. Their wives are tweeting stupid crap. It's time that we all sit back and quick clips. I just watched the last decade of Browns football and tell me how happy you are with the quarterback situation. That's all I'm saying. I know you're a Shador fan. That's cool. That's fine and dandy, and we all are as well. Not Dan so much, but
yeah. But if Shador, like we're talking Watson, if he rattles off his 5 wins in a row, he'll be a hero in the city. This, like, even if Dan's not the biggest Sanders guy,
I just want to win.
That's what. If Sanders wins 5 in a row, we'll bring Dan back on, and he might have a Sanders jersey. Like, maybe not that much, but
maybe not that. Maybe not that far. But I will give him credit.
We don't care who it is. It's just we want to win. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is, and I don't know.
We support our team, so we support the guys that are going to go out there and ball. That's just that simple, you know.
We win 5 in a row with Sanders. Dan, I'll buy you a Shador jersey. Every time you're on here. Yeah.
I'll put a big number 12 in my back window of my work truck.
There you go. For how many hours you work a day?
Yeah. We'll get Dan a custom Shador jersey. It'll be number 12, but on the back it'll say, instead of Sanders, it'll say Danders. So
now we're going too far.
Who is Danders, man? I don't know Danders.
All right. Any before we end the show, guys, any closing statements you guys want?
Quick, come back next week. We want you. We love the comments.
I do think that there is a quarterback that the Browns are looking at. He's not in this year's draft. He's in next year's draft. And I think if you think about it long and hard, you might know who it is. Rhymes with Manning.
Yeah.
And I think anything that he does that the Browns do this year, I think has an eye on next year's draft. So I don't see, like, the Billy Willis name been thrown out, but the price tag that comes with him, I'm like, I don't see them investing that kind of money in him, especially when you already are still paying Deshaun Watson. So, and especially if you have, the guy in that burnt orange jersey and that white helmet down in Texas that you have, you think is going to be his uncle. So I don't know. I mean, I don't see a lot of move. Maybe Tyler Huntley is kind of brought in because of the familiarity here and with Monken, but I don't see them making like a huge quarterback splash this year.
Just kind of rolling with what they have, and
yeah,
it is what it is. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think they didn't let Eli get drafted by the Chargers? Do you think they would allow and this is a serious question, like, do you think they would actually allow Arch to play here?
You don't have the same power over the draft that you had back when Eli was drafted, because of the whole slotting system now and everything like that. You don't see a whole lot of players pull that kind of maneuver anymore because they don't have the leverage to do so. Like, you can basically say, all right, fine, sit out. And, you're not commanding a $100+ million salary from the rip. You're going to start out at a rookie base. So the thinking is, a lot of times is you basically take it, you play well, but in 3 to 4 years, you're going to be a free agent. And then you can kind of call your shot. Like, to bring up an example, Baker Mayfield did that, when he was here. He turned down an extension and basically made it to the point where they were like, we need to trade you or whatever. And they made the decision to go Watson, but whatever. But, basically he called his shot. He was like, you're going to either franchise tag me, or you're going to trade me, or I'm going to leave it as a free agent. And, so you don't necessarily have, you can say, I mean, Myles Garrett once upon a time said he wanted Dallas to draft him instead of Cleveland. The Browns took him anyways.
Yeah.
And look where we are. So they could say what they want, but you're going to get drafted wherever you get drafted. And you're either going to take your rookie contract and play well or not play well. And then your fate's in your hands. But if you sit out a year, then you basically lost a year of whatever. The Browns aren't going to be like, hard pressed to trade his rights or anything, unless it's like you're in playoff contention and you want to get a piece. You're going to say, all right, screw it. So and plus Peyton Manning and the Haslams are close back from his Tennessee days. Yeah. So there's a mutual respect there between the two families that's still there. That's why I firmly believe Haslam wants our chair because of that. So I don't necessarily see that as a possibility.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, I was like genuinely curious. Just I didn't remember much from Eli except for they said don't draft him, which they did anyways, and then traded him. Right? Is that how it worked? Or
the Chargers traded him, and then they flipped him for Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. We'll see. I think I don't know even that. Do you think? I don't know if we'll have the first. I mean, we might. We were ranked. I guess preseason we're 32nd. They picked like NFL.com had us ranked at 32 already as the worst team in the league. I'm just curious. I wonder if even that, like, if we trade down on one of these first round picks to acquire more assets, just in case we have to trade all the way up to 1. Like, if we don't land the number 1 pick, if we just stockpile assets to trade whatever the hell we have to trade up to 1 to draft Manning, then
I can see them doing that.
Yeah, there's another Myles Garrett year gone because we're sitting here planning for a quarterback.
Yeah, it's the fine line.
Here's another quick scenario. None of that's going to happen, because we don't know. We don't have crystal balls, and we can't tell the future. If Shedeur looks good and they start him at QB1 and he totally lights it up, you're not going to want to go get another. You're not going to go get him, man. And there's not going to be no need for that. You might draft another quarterback to have a guy sitting on the back seat, a 2 for you, a solid 2, but that's also a possibility. So, and he might take us to the new dome with a Super Bowl. We don't know, but I would love it. Oh my God. I don't care. Yeah. Shedeur, if that's the guy and they put him forward and he goes out there and we win 10, 12, 13 games next year, you're going to run them again. You're going to want to run it back.
That's what I'm saying. You don't draft a quarterback this year. You have quarterbacks.
Yeah, especially with
you're not going to draft one this year. No.
Right. No, apply the
LSU kid was on our list for round 2. There was a couple mock drafts that had us his name starts with an N. I don't remember what it is. The LSU guy. And it was
Nussmeier.
Yeah, if Andrew Berry drafts 3 or 4 quarterbacks in 2 years, like he needs to be fired before the season starts.
I agree. I don't want to draft a quarterback this year. Whatever quarterback you bring in, like I said before, you're not going to be able to be confident with anybody with the offensive line and the wide receiver core. There's no possibility it will happen unless you approach and take care of those situations needed first.
So let's draft a receiver, draft offensive linemen, sign offensive linemen, I would like Sanders to start next year. Just to kind of see what we have there. Best case scenario, we get him some help. We look good, and we don't have to worry about drafting a quarterback when Arch Manning.
You're going to see a different Sanders this year as well because you don't have Stefanski at the helm of things. It's going to be completely different, I promise. And I hope to see Sanders start. I really do. I know Dan hates it, and that's fine. I mean, we all have our own opinion. That's why we're here to talk about it, guys. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, I do want to win games, and whoever's the best at the position, put him there.
And I can't wait we're hoping with the, Monken and the guys that are coming in here on this offensive side of the ball. I'm hoping that we don't hear on TV during a game or a coach said it predictable. How about we just don't have a predictable offense? That'd be great. There's a step, So I that's what I don't want. I don't want to hear Cleveland's easy to play. Their offense is easy to go against because you already know what they're going to do. You know, first down, run the ball. Second down, run the ball. We're in a passing situation. You know, so I'm. You know, that's part of bringing Monk in here is to change all that. So, and we've already. You know, I'm not going to keep sitting on it and saying it because we can sit here and argue till we're blue in the face. If it's Sanders, play him. If it's Watson, play him. If they bring another guy in here, play him. Let's just put your best guy forward. You're an idiot if you don't think that. You're an idiot.
5 games this year, and we're going to look a lot better doing it, though.
Yeah.
That's a fact. You heard
I got Oreos for Valentine's Day.
Need a big glass of milk.
Mike gets for dropping 5 F-bombs within 10 seconds on the show. Gets free Oreos.
What the are you talking about now?
Yeah, that's why Gary's not here. You guys see not Gary here, and thank you, Dan, for coming on today. Gary's not here because a Cupid shot him in his ass, and he has a hard time sitting on the donut. He couldn't sit on the donut here on the live podcast, so that's why Gary's not here today.
So he's at his nephew's wrestling match standing.
Everyone say a prayer for Gary.
He'll be. I had to mess with Gary a little bit. I said something earlier. Mike's like, "Do not say that on the live show." I said, "I was."
And now we can say whatever the fuck we want because Mike did what he did. So now we're.
Dan,
bro.
Dan warmed us up with a few of them. Then Mike went crazy. So now we're good. We can say whatever we want.
Just corrupted you guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
I've been waiting for it, dude. They've had me handcuffed since I got on the show.
Oh, you sound like Kevin Stefanski right now.
Yeah.
No.
We gotta be better. We will be better. Yeah.
I have to be better.
Take the handcuffs off on the Saturday show. Well, yeah, thank you, Dan, for joining us, man. We'll definitely have you on again.
Awesome.
There was definitely less interruption today with Gary. No, just my introduction. But yeah, it was a great show, guys. I appreciate you all. And Tuesday, 7:30, we'll be live here. Everybody, be sure to check out our sponsors. You got Allstate Doug White, Allstate Insurance Agency. You have Rust Belt Automotive and Diesel. Got Marlon at Lego Heads Barbershop and Saloon. And Bearded Bastards Barbecue Sauce. Give them a holler. Use our code Bearded15 for 15% off your order. And Cleveland Ketchup. Use the code Bearded for 10% off your order at Cleveland Ketchup. Again, thank you guys for joining the show today. And we will see you guys Tuesday at 7:30. And as always, go Browns.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.